The stars glittered like diamonds against the black void as the human ship Pioneer approached the massive space station. Captain Jack Wilson stood tall on the bridge, his weathered face reflecting both pride and caution. This was humanity's greatest moment. First official contact with the Galactic Council. Receiving docking instructions, "Captain," said the young officer at communications. Jack nodded. "Take us in slowly." After decades of faster-than-light travel development, humans had finally ventured beyond their solar system and discovered they were not alone. The galaxy teemed with intelligent life, all supposedly united under the ancient Galactic Council, led by the Vex. The Pioneer eased into the enormous docking bay where delegations from 6 different alien species waited. Diplomat Anna Reed straightened her uniform beside Jack. "Remember, Captain, this isn't just about Earth. This is about humanity's future among the stars." The airlock opened with a hiss. Jack and Anna stepped forward to meet their galactic neighbors. The Vex stood at the front. Tall, slender beings with pale blue skin and large, knowing eyes. Their leader, Elder Tal, stepped forward. "Humans of Earth." Tal's voice was smooth and calming. "The Galactic Council welcomes you to the community of civilized worlds." Behind the Vex stood the other species, the muscular, armored Dren with their 4 eyes. The glowing lumen whose bodies seemed partly made of light. The short, round myth with their calculating gazes, and others Jack couldn't identify. Over the next few days, the humans were given tours, teachings, and technology. The Council praised human adaptability and creativity as refreshing qualities. They spoke of trade, cultural exchange, and mutual protection. Earth's governments eagerly accepted the Council's friendship. 6 months later, the Council requested human help with a deep space mining operation in the distant Epsilon sector. They promised to share advanced technology in return. "This is the opportunity we've been waiting for," Anna told the United Earth government during a video meeting. "We show our worth, and we gain access to technology centuries beyond our own." Earth sent its 5 most advanced ships and 300 of its brightest minds to Epsilon. The Pioneer led the mission, with Jack commanding the small fleet. At the farewell ceremony on the Council station, Elder Tal raised a glass. "To our human friends, your assistance at Epsilon will never be forgotten." The gathered aliens applauded politely. But Jack noticed something odd. Some of the Dren officers exchanged looks. One of the myth whispered to another behind a 3-fingered hand. Later that night, unable to sleep, Jack walked the quiet corridors of the station. Passing an unmarked door, he heard Elder Tal's voice. "The humans are proceeding exactly as planned. Their ships leave for Epsilon tomorrow." Another voice, deeper, replied, "And Earth's defenses. The technology we gifted them contains the access codes we need. When the time comes, they will be unable to defend themselves." "Good. The Council cannot risk another species like the Krath. These humans are too unpredictable, too dangerous, if left to develop further." Jack froze, his heart pounding. This was no mining operation. It was a trap. He backed away slowly, then ran to the ship's communication center. He had to warn Earth immediately. "Send an emergency message to United Earth Command." He ordered the startled night officer. "Authorization Wilson Alpha 7. The officer's fingers flew across the controls, then stopped. His face paled. "Sir, all channels are jammed. I can't get through." Jack stared at the communication panel in horror. The betrayal had already begun. Jack ran through the corridors of the space station, his mind racing faster than his feet. He had to reach the Pioneer and somehow warn Earth. Captain Tom Reed, Anna's brother and the ship's chief engineer, met him at the airlock. "Something strange is happening. All our systems are showing unusual power surges." "It's a trap, Tom. The Council means to destroy us." Jack pushed past him into the ship. "We need to leave now." But it was too late. Through the viewports, Jack watched as massive Council warships appeared from nowhere. their cloaking technology far beyond anything humans had seen. The warships surrounded the 5 human vessels. On the main view screen, Elder Tal's face appeared. Gone was the warm smile, replaced by cold determination. Captain Wilson, your species poses too great a risk to galactic stability. The Council has voted. Humanity must not be allowed to spread further. Anna stepped forward. Elder Tal, this is madness. We came in peace. Peace is precisely what we protect, Diplomat Reed. Your kind are too unpredictable, too violent when threatened. History shows you would eventually challenge us. The transmission cut off. Seconds later, the first Dren warship fired. The human ship nearest to the Pioneer the Discovery exploded into fragments. No warning, no chance to surrender. Battle stations, Jack ordered. Tom, can we jump to light speed? Tom's fingers flew across the controls. They'd disabled our drive somehow. It must be in that gift technology they gave us. The Pioneer shuddered as enemy weapons struck its shields. On the tactical display, Jack watched in horror as 3 more human ships disappeared, leaving only the Pioneer. Sir, shouted Lisa Black, the Marine commander, we have an experimental stealth shuttle in Bay 3. It's a prototype, not on any registry the Council would know about. Jack made his decision instantly. Tom, Lisa, get as many crew as you can to that shuttle. 5 minutes. What about you? Tom asked. I'll create a distraction, and I need to find Anna. Jack found Anna being dragged away by Dren soldiers. With his service pistol, he shot both aliens and pulled her toward the escape route. Jack, they're attacking Earth too. I saw it on their command screens. They sabotaged all our planetary defenses with that technology exchange. They reached Bay 3 as Tom was loading the last survivors aboard. Only 23 people from a crew of 200 had made it. Captain, a young communications officer called from inside the shuttle. I'm picking up fragments of transmissions from Earth. It's bad. On the small shuttle screen, they'd watched in stunned silence. Council ships bombarded major human cities. Defense systems failed to activate. Orbital stations exploded one by one. We need to go back, Anna cried. We can't help them by dying here, Jack said, his voice hollow. Not now. The shuttle slipped away from the dying Pioneer its experimental cloaking system hiding them from Council sensors. Behind them, their mothership exploded in a ball of fire. Hours passed in grim silence as they watched the transmissions. Billions dead, Earth in ruins, human colonies across 3 systems destroyed simultaneously. The Council is broadcasting on all frequencies, the communications officer reported. They're saying humanity has been eliminated. Tom looked up from his console, tears streaking his face. What do we do now, Captain? Jack's eyes were hard as steel. We survive. We hide. We learn. Anna put her hand on Jack's shoulder. And then Jack looked at their small group, the last free humans in the galaxy. Then we make them pay. They think they've won. They think they've wiped us out. His voice dropped to a whisper. They have no idea what they've just started. Their small shuttle, renamed Vengeance disappeared into the darkness between stars, carrying the seeds of humanity's terrible retribution. 5 years passed like a slow-burning star. Humanity, once billions strong across multiple worlds, was reduced to fewer than 10,000 survivors hiding in abandoned mining outposts, remote asteroids, and forgotten moons. Jack Wilson stood before a makeshift map of the galaxy in their hidden base on a barren moon. His face had grown harder, marked with a scar running from eye to jaw, a reminder of a close call with Dren hunters 2 years ago. Their supply ships will pass through this sector in 3 days, he told the small group of resistance leaders gathered around him. We hit them fast, take what we need, and vanish. Since the betrayal, the survivors had formed a network stretching across a dozen systems. They communicated using old radio technology the Council considered too primitive to monitor. Their tactics were simple but effective. Strike, salvage, disappear. Tom Reed entered the room, his once clean engineer's uniform replaced by patched coveralls. Dark circles rimmed his eyes from endless nights of work. "I think I'd done it," he announced. "I cracked their communication codes." The room fell silent. For years, they had been working blind, unable to anticipate Council movements or understand their plans. Tom connected his device to the main screen. Alien text flowed across it, then translated to English. "This is everything. Their ship movements, security protocols, even private messages between Council members. For hours they read, learning more about their enemy than they had in 5 years of fighting. The Council species were highly specialized. The Vex were masterminds and strategists. The Dren were warriors. The Lumen were scientists. And the Myth controlled resources and trade." "Look at this," Lisa Black said, pointing to a report. "They're still hunting for human survivors. They don't understand how we keep evading them." Jack smiled grimly. "Because they're specialists. They can't adapt like we can." "There's more," Tom said quietly. "We weren't the first. The Council has eliminated 7 other species they deemed unpredictable before us." Anna, who had become their strategist, leaned forward. "And this report? It shows they're keeping human prisoners for study. One prisoner mentioned specifically is me." Jack stared at her. "What?" "It's a duplicate. They captured someone and created a perfect copy to study human psychology," Anna explained, her voice steady despite the horror of her words. "That means the real Anna might still be alive," Jack said, hope rising in his voice for the first time in years. Tom pointed to another decoded message. "According to this, she's being held at a research facility in the Proxima system." Jack's decision was immediate. "We're going to rescue her." "That's Council Heartland," Lisa warned. "Heavily guarded." "Which is why they won't expect us," Jack replied. "Tom, can you use their codes to get us past their security?" Tom nodded slowly. "I think so. We'd need to steal a Council ship first." The plan came together over days. Using their knowledge of Council communications, they ambushed a small Lumen science vessel, captured it intact, and used the codes to approach the Proxima facility undetected. Jack led the rescue team himself. They found Anna in a cell deep within the facility, thin and scared but alive. Her eyes widened when she saw Jack. "You survived," she whispered. "They told everyone humanity was extinct." "Not quite," Jack said as he broke her restraints. "We've been learning, watching, waiting." As they escaped, Anna grabbed Jack's arm. "There's something you need to know. Something I learned during my captivity." "What is it?" "Why they fear us so much." Her eyes burned with intensity. "Humans are the only species they've encountered that combines unpredictability with a capacity for warfare. Their studies show our minds work fundamentally differently. Where they specialize, we adapt. Where they plan for centuries, we innovate overnight." Jack helped her toward their stolen ship. "And," Anna smiled, a fierce expression on her gaunt face, "and they're terrified of what happens if we survive. Because deep down, they know we won't just survive. We'll win." The stolen ship blasted away from the facility, carrying with it the Council's worst nightmare. Humans who now understood their enemy perfectly. "There's something I need to show you," Anna said as she recovered from her captivity. 1 month had passed since her rescue, and the resistance leaders gathered in their hidden base's meeting room. She pointed to a location on their star map. "Earth isn't completely dead. Before the attack, our military built a secret facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. If it survived, it could change everything." Jack studied the coordinates. "What's there?" "Project Prometheus, a fully automated manufacturing and research facility controlled by an advanced military AI. It was our ultimate failsafe, designed to operate even if humanity was wiped out." Tom's eyes widened. "If it's still active." "Then we have a chance," Jack finished. The journey to Earth was dangerous. Council ships still patrolled the system, searching for any human survivors. Using their stolen Lumen vessel and the codes Tom had cracked, they slipped past the patrols and approached the ruined planet that had once been humanity's home. Earth's surface was scarred with impact craters. Once great cities lay in ruins. The oceans had darkened with dust and debris. Jack felt his chest tighten at the sight. There, Anna pointed to coordinates in the middle of what had been the Pacific Ocean. The entrance should be 2 miles below the surface. Their ship descended into the dark waters. For long minutes, they saw nothing but blackness. Then, a faint light appeared below them. An automated signal, Tom said. It's asking for identification. Anna leaned forward. Authorization. Read, Anna. Diplomat code. Echo November Delta Golf Alpha Mike Echo. The ocean floor opened, revealing a massive underwater hangar. Their ship glided in, water draining around them as massive doors sealed behind. Inside, lights flickered on automatically. The facility was enormous, untouched by the destruction above. Assembly lines, research labs, and weapon testing ranges filled the space, all dormant but intact. It's been waiting, Anna whispered. Tom approached a central console. The AI should be here. Let me see if I can wake it. His fingers worked across the controls. Screens lit up around them. A calm, genderless voice filled the room. Project Prometheus online. Human presence detected. 5 years, 2 months, 17 days since last contact. Status report required. Jack stepped forward. Earth has fallen. Humanity was betrayed by the Galactic Council. We are some of the few survivors. A pause. Analyzing available data. Confirmation. Council species launched unprovoked attack on all human settlements. Response protocols initiated. Screens around the room displayed detailed schematics of Council ships, weapons, and technology. For 5 years, I have monitored all Council communications within range. The AI explained. I have analyzed their technology and developed countermeasures. I have designed weapons specifically to exploit weaknesses in their systems. Tom studied the designs with growing excitement. These are incredible. Their shields are vulnerable to specific energy frequencies. Their hulls can't withstand targeted sonic weapons. And their communication systems have backdoors we can exploit. Manufacturing capabilities at 87%. Prometheus continued. Current capacity. 18 stealth-capable ships per month. 400 advanced weapon systems per week. Jack looked at the others, determination in his eyes. We've been surviving. Now we can start fighting back. Within weeks, the first new human ships emerged from the underwater facility. Unlike the bulky vessels of the past, these were sleek, dark, and nearly invisible to Council sensors. Their weapons were designed for maximum effectiveness against specific Council species technology. 6 months later, the Dren military outpost in the Rigel system exploded without warning. No attackers were detected. No ships were seen entering or leaving. Only a message left in the system's communication network. Humanity remembers. In the Council's grand meeting chamber, Elder Tal received the report with disbelief. Impossible, he said. The humans are extinct. But more reports came in. Council supply ships vanishing. Communication relays destroyed. Military outposts attacked by enemies they never saw coming. And always the same message left behind. Humanity remembers. The sleeping giant had awakened. Jack stared at the holographic map showing Council territory. After 6 months of attacks, they had the aliens' attention. Now it was time for the next phase. They're stronger together, Anna said, studying the different colored regions representing each Council species. We need to break their alliance. Tom smiled as he held up a small device. I think I can help with that. The device contained false communications he had created using the Council's own encryption. Some showed the Dren planning to overthrow the Vex leadership. Others revealed the myth cheating other species in trade deals. More showed the Lumen keeping advanced technology for themselves. They already don't trust each other, Anna explained. We just need to push them over the edge. Using their stealth ships, they planted the fake evidence in the private databases of each species. Then they waited. 3 weeks later, a Dren battlecruiser fired on a Vex diplomatic vessel near the Council capital. The Vex responded by restricting Dren movement through key systems. The myth raised prices on essential resources, claiming security concerns. The Lumen withdrew their scientists from joint projects. In the Council's Grand Chamber, accusations flew between species that had cooperated for thousands of years. The Council is eating itself from within, Lisa reported after a reconnaissance mission. Their combined fleet has split into 4 separate forces, each protecting their own territory. Jack nodded. Now we strike. Lisa led the first major assault against a weakened Dren shipyard. With the Dren fleet scattered, defending their borders against supposed Vex aggression, the shipyard had minimal protection. 20 human vessels appeared from nowhere. Their weapons, designed by Prometheus to specifically counter Dren shielding, tore through the defenses like paper. Within hours, the largest Dren military production facility was reduced to drifting debris. Meanwhile, Tom activated a virus planted in the Council's primary weapons network. Across 100 systems, alien weapons systems suddenly displayed the same message. Humanity remembers. The Council leaders gathered in emergency session. This is impossible, Elder Tal insisted. We destroy them. A Dren commander stood. Yet they destroy our shipyards. While you accuse us of treachery we did not commit. Your planned coup was exposed, a Vex counselor shouted back. As they argued, Jack's ships struck 3 more targets simultaneously: a myth trading hub, a Lumen research center, and a Vex communication relay. Each attack precisely targeted critical weaknesses in each species' defenses. On the edges of known space, a human scout ship detected unusual activity. Jack himself went to investigate. What they found surprised everyone. Another ship, unlike any Council design, hiding in an asteroid field. We're being hailed, the communications officer reported. On the screen appeared a being with gray skin and 4 arms. You fight the Council, it stated simply. We do, Jack replied cautiously. We are the Tarn. We also survived Council betrayal 300 years ago. They believed us extinct as they believed you extinct. Jack's eyes widened. How many of you survived? 8,412. We have hidden, watched, and waited for an opportunity. That night, Jack brought the news to the Resistance leadership. The Tarn want to join us. They have ships, technology, and knowledge of Council space we don't have. Anna considered this. Can we trust them? They hate the Council as much as we do, Jack said. And they've survived in secret longer than we have. The alliance with the Tarn doubled their fighting force overnight. The combined fleet prepared for the largest attack yet, a direct assault on the main Council armada that had gathered to hunt down the human terrorists. In the flagship's command center, Jack addressed the combined human and Tarn forces. They thought they could wipe us out and continue their rule unchallenged. Today, we show them the price of betrayal. The battle that followed shook the galaxy. For the first time since the betrayal, humans fought the Council forces directly, ship against ship. When it ended, the Council fleet was in tatters, retreating in disarray. Across Council space, the news spread rapidly. The humans, the supposedly extinct humans, had defeated the greatest fleet the Council had ever assembled. The galaxy began to tremble. News of the Council fleet's defeat spread faster than light speed. For thousands of years, the Council had presented itself as unbeatable, its authority absolute. Now that image was shattered. Jack stood on the bridge of the Redemption Asterisk, the largest human warship ever built. Around him, a combined fleet of human and Tarn vessels prepared for their next move. We're receiving transmissions from 12 different systems, the communications officer reported. minor species asking for protection from council rule. Anna, who had become the face of human diplomacy, reviewed the messages. Many of these species have suffered under council control for centuries. They see our victory as their chance for freedom. Jack made his decision. Tell them we offer alliance, not just protection. Together we'll build something better than the council ever did. Within weeks, representatives from 28 non-council species gathered on the Redemption *. Some came openly, their worlds already in rebellion. Others came in secret, fearing council reprisal. All sought the same thing: freedom. Jack addressed them simply. The council tried to exterminate humanity because they feared our unpredictability. They called us dangerous. Perhaps we are. To tyrants. To friends, we offer partnership. We form today the Alliance of Free Species. While Anna worked with the new allies, Tom collaborated with scientists from different species, combining their unique knowledge with human innovation. The Lumen defectors have shown us technology the council kept hidden for centuries, Tom told Jack. Combined with our adaptability, we're making advances they never imagined possible. Lisa's military forces grew as volunteers from newly allied worlds joined the fight. She trained them in human tactics, unpredictable, adaptable, and devastatingly effective against the rigid council military doctrine. The Alliance launched its campaign of liberation. World after world broke free from council control, some through military action, others through internal uprisings supported by Alliance forces. With each victory, more species joined their cause. The Vex, watching their empire crumble, called an emergency session of the remaining loyal council members. We face extinction, Elder Tall declared, his once confident voice now trembling. The humans have turned our own subjects against us. A Dren war leader rose. Then we must use the Sun Killer. It is our only option. Murmurs filled the chamber. The Sun Killer was the Council's ultimate weapon, capable of causing a star to go supernova, destroying entire solar systems. It had never been used, only threatened. We will target their main fleet base, Elder Tal decided. If we destroy enough of them at once, the Alliance will collapse. Tom detected the massive power buildup as the Sun Killer activated. Using the Prometheus Eye, he identified a critical flaw in the weapon's design, a cooling system vulnerable to targeted strikes. We need to send a team to infiltrate the Vex homeworld, he told Jack. It's the only way to stop the weapon before it fires. Jack himself led the mission. With Lisa commanding the ground team, they fought their way into the heavily guarded facility housing the Sun Killer's control systems. We've reached the main chamber, Lisa reported over the comm. But they've locked down the core. Someone needs to manually override it. Jack started forward, but Lisa stopped him. No, you're needed to lead the Alliance. This one's on me. Before he could argue, Lisa sealed the inner door behind her. Through the viewport, Jack watched as she fought her way to the core, planted the charges Tom had designed, and triggered the sequence. The facility began to collapse around them. Get out of there, Jack shouted into his comm. Lisa's voice came back calm. Not enough time. The override has to be maintained manually. A pause. Make it count, Captain. Make sure they never do this to anyone else. The team escaped as the facility exploded, the Sun Killer permanently disabled. Lisa's sacrifice had saved billions of lives across multiple systems. That night, the Alliance fleet surrounded the Vex homeworld. Jack opened a channel to the council chamber. Surrender, he said simply. Your weapon is gone. Your fleets are scattered. Your empire is in ruins. On screens across the galaxy, the Vex High Council knelt before human representatives. The species that had nearly exterminated humanity now begged for mercy. The galaxy washed in awe. 1 year after the Council's surrender, representatives from over 50 species gathered on Earth. The once ruined planet was showing signs of recovery. New cities rising alongside carefully preserved ruins that stood as monuments to what had been lost. In the Grand Assembly Hall built where old New York once stood, Jack watched as Anna addressed the gathered delegates. "No species should hold power over others," she said. "The Council failed because it believed some lives were worth more than others. The Alliance will not make the same mistake." The new Galactic Charter was signed that day. Unlike the Council's rule by the oldest and strongest species, the Alliance gave equal voice to all. Each world received one vote in the new Senate, regardless of their technology level, military strength, or population size. Elder Tal and the other council leaders stood trial for their crimes. The evidence was overwhelming. Records of 7 different species completely wiped out before humanity, hundreds of worlds stripped of resources against their will, and countless acts of suppression. "You could destroy us as we tried to destroy you," Elder Tal said to Jack after the verdict. "Why don't you?" Jack looked at the fallen leader with steady eyes. "Because that would make us like you. Humanity's strength isn't just that we can fight when we must, it's that we can forgive when given the chance." The punishment was not death but service. The former council leaders would spend their remaining lives helping to rebuild the worlds they had damaged, working alongside the species they had once ruled. Tom led a new scientific cooperative where knowledge was freely shared among all Alliance members. Technological advances that had taken the Council centuries happened in years as human adaptability combined with the specialized knowledge of other species. Earth's recovery accelerated with help from across the galaxy. Alien plants adapted to grow in damaged soil. New medical techniques helped heal radiation sickness. Orbit cleaners removed the debris of battle. The memorial service was held 3 years after the war ended. Monuments bearing the names of extinct species, the Krath, the Novor, the Brel, and others the Council had removed, stood in a circle around a central flame. Lysa's name was carved prominently on the human monument, along with billions of others. Jack placed his hand on the cold stone. "We did it, Lisa. We showed them what humans are truly capable of." A young Tarn approached him cautiously. "Is it true what they say? That you could have destroyed the Vex homeworld, but chose not to?" Jack nodded. Revenge wasn't the point. Building something better was. The Alliance headquarters was established on Earth, a symbolic choice showing the galaxy's transformation. The species that had been marked for extinction now stood at the center of galactic cooperation. Jack found the transition from warrior to peacemaker difficult. He still woke from nightmares of Earth burning, of friends lost in the long struggle. But each day brought new purpose as he helped guide the Alliance through its early challenges. 5 years after the war, Jack stood on the observation deck of the New Earth orbital station. Below him, the blue planet teemed with life once again. Ships from 100 worlds moved through the bustling space lanes, trading, exploring, and cooperating. Captain Wilson, a young human officer, approached. "We're receiving strange signals from the Andromeda Galaxy. The Senate requests your presence." Jack smiled slightly. Beyond their galaxy, others had taken notice of the dramatic change in power. Stories had spread of the species that defeated the mighty Council, stories that mixed fear and admiration. "Tell them I'll be right there," he said. As Jack walked toward the Senate chamber, he passed aliens of every shape and color working alongside humans. The beings that had once sought humanity's extinction now looked to humans for leadership. They had betrayed the wrong species, and the galaxy was better for it.